going on, world? Shawn Tiberio here with another episode of the Web Buzz podcast, joined by my man, I call him the myth, the legend, the Google ranking god. I don't know. I'll think of some better names come 2021 to really hype Roger up. But Roger, what's going on, my man?
Oh, going good, man. Going good. Super excited. Once again up here. I know last week I wasn't on. I had a lot of things going on. It was Christmas, right? But right now for this one, I wanted to make sure that I was on. Me and you, we have a lot of cool things to get ready for 2021. So I'm super pumped for this particular episode and ready to go, man. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Left me flying solo last week. It was fun, but it was not as fun as having you on live, that is for sure. But today we're diving into the 7 marketing, or let's get a little more specific, the 7 SEO trends of 2021. And obviously, as we roll in tomorrow, you're already experiencing New Year's Eve. It's going to be next year here in a few hours for you. For all of us here stateside, it's tomorrow for us. And as we ring in 2021, the Web Buzz podcast is going to be there, bringing you guys the hottest trends of online digital level marketing for your business as we go. So if you're joining us live today, give us a little shout out. Let us know in the comments. Heck, give it a little like, thumbs up, share it out with your friends, whoever. Put it on your stuff to help get this message out there. But full disclosure, I am having a little bit of internet issues here at the office. We're going to knock on wood and hope that it holds on so that we can drop these gold bars to each and every one of you guys. So without further ado, I'm not going to take too much time. We're going to dive right into this. We're going to get the value out there and let them know a little bit, Roger, where are we going? What are we talking about here? 7 trends. What are some of these trends? Throw it at us. Let's kind of get.
Absolutely, man. So one of the things that we've been doing in the last week is really diving deep into information that we've collected with our clients, and also doing a lot of research through a lot of groups and a lot of colleagues out there from the marketing and SEO world. So what we've come up with is the top 7. Now, there's a lot more that we can be doing in regards to the top 7 kind of trends that we have going on. But in this particular episode, we're going to be discussing the top 7. Okay. So I'm going to go through the list really quick, and then I'm going to go back and go one by one. Right. So I want everybody, if you're taking notes out there, you want to kind of see what those 7 trends are. We're going to be discussing building your brand, discussing a little bit about that, the importance and some tips there, voice search. We're going to be discussing how important mobile first is right now, user intent in regards to your content, backlinks. There's a lot of questions in 2021 as we enter 2021, the importance of backlinks, or if they're not important, right? So keep tuned in so you can find out more about that. And then the E.A.T acronym. If you're new to the marketing world, SEO world, don't worry about it. The E.A.T acronym, we will discuss it. It is extremely important in 2021. And social media marketing. Okay, so social media marketing is another one that's gaining a lot of momentum, very important for your brand. We're going to be discussing what you need to be doing for that. And then if you stay tuned till the end, we're going to have a bonus. So I won't mention that. You got to stay till the end to get that bonus. So with that, Shawn, before I jump into this list in detail, I'll kind of pass it over to you, see if you have anything, and then I'll jump in.
No, go ahead and take it away. I will say I cut out there for a couple seconds. It looks like the broadcast stayed going. So on your end, if you see me disappear, just keep dropping bombs. Keep dropping them gold bars and those gold bombs on everybody.
Hey, man, it's all good. It's all good. We have it here. All right, guys. So let's jump in right away into this. So let's start with building your brand. So building your brand is becoming extremely important, guys. In the past, it was okay to build, say, an online presence with just a website and really focus on the content on the website with keywords. You didn't really worry too much about your brand. Some companies, the real important companies, the real companies out there that had a budget and really were looking to build a long-term presence, they did focus on that, and they are currently doing very well. For a lot of new entrepreneurs, new companies coming into the market, brand building is becoming very important. So some of the things that you guys can do to build that brand, obviously, they're very obvious, guys, is like provide a very valuable, very good, right, product or service. Don't go out there providing services that, you know, people don't want, or just trying to kind of cheat people, right? There's a lot of things out there. Make sure that you have everything honed in and that you're providing a very, very good product. That will basically result in people looking up your brand online, and that pings the algorithm with Google that shows them, hey, this brand must be important in this particular industry, right? So brand searches, the more that happens, the more value your brand starts getting. So it's a huge signal to Google. Okay, so that's number one, building your brand, right? So number two, we're going to go into voice search. So that was a big kind of buzzword in 2020. So it was a little new. We're trying to kind of understand exactly what that is. And what we ended up doing is kind of looking at all the stats, everything that was happening with voice search and how it was affecting your marketing and SEO. And what we found is that the amount of searches, voice searches that are happening right now are about 50%. So more and more people are going to their devices, right? And where is my phone? Here it is. Boom. They're going to this right here. And they're no longer looking it up like we used to. They're actually asking Siri. They're asking whoever the heck they have on their phone, right? Whatever type of phone that they have, and they're asking questions.
So now, you're saying people are getting lazy is what you're saying. They won't even type it in. They're just hitting buttons, or I don't want to say her name. She's right here on the shelf. She'll turn on. They're just saying that to get their search now.
Exactly. That's becoming extremely, extremely popular. So now that we're seeing those stats, now they're not just coming from top results. This is stuff that we're kind of analyzing, but this is the amount of information. You guys can go and do your own research. We do a ton of research, and it's showing that we're very approaching the 50% mark, which means at the end of 2021, that is going to show a lot more. So you need to be very careful that your website, your online presence is optimized for that. But I do have some good news in regards to voice search. If you're doing the traditional SEO tasks, you have good content, you basically optimize the on page, meaning you have good keywords on your content, you're doing the brand building that we just talked about, all that stuff reflects your voice search. Now, a correlation that we've found is that the top three rankings, basically if it's some kind of keyword that's on Google and it's ranking on the top three, and someone searches for that same thing on a mobile device, the top three results are the ones that are getting served up to the user. So if you want to be in voice search, if you want to compete in voice search, you need to look to rank well with your SEO for those queries. Okay, so that is trend number two. Now let's go to trend number three, guys. So trend number three is mobile. Once again, it's a no-brainer on this one. We've been talking about this since 2018, started catching some fire. 2019, we're like, man, you got to go back and redo your websites if you haven't gotten there. 2020, it was a must. 2021 hasn't changed, guys. There's still a lot of websites out there that are not mobile friendly. Check your websites. If you built it yourself or a couple of years ago, go back, because that will now begin to affect your rankings and your overall online marketing. What I mean by your overall online marketing, people that are searching you, they're on this. They're on your phone. They're on their phones. They are no longer on their desktop. Go ahead, Shawn. So it looks like you want to say something. You're just holding.
I did, because it literally just probably about an hour before jumping on this broadcast here for today's show, I was doing some research. We do a ton of research. I was doing a little bit of research with one of our current clients, and I was looking at some of their website traffic history, pulling in some HubSpot data, and I was looking at another one of their sites on a different platform that they also have out there, and I was shocked at literally the number of things like the emails that get sent out for this particular client, the number of traffic daily, monthly coming to the site, of how predominant mobile it was. And to what Roger just said right there, don't kid yourself, folks. If you don't think that if you're sitting there going, yeah, that you sure not my industry though. This isn't an industry that with an audience. We talked avatar before, elder, right? 40, 50, 60 plus type age bracket, and they're still predominant mobile going to these particular clients' sites. So big one. I just didn't want to skim that one too quick. Obviously, we'll get deeper into that probably as we get into 2021 here and stuff. But let that sink in, everybody. That mobile, I think it's going to come a time where they're just going to say, if you're not mobily optimized, we don't even want to know that you exist. Kind of piece.
So Shawn, just to add to that, we're already there. We are already there, guys. Google has already basically their entire index, their entire search index, and how they index websites is based on mobile first, because they know the trends. They're a business as well, so they got to look where everybody is searching. So absolutely, mobile is very important. So let's keep moving, guys. Let's go to trend number 4. Trend number 4 here. So trend number 4 is user intent. So this is another one that's, all of these are important. I keep saying that, but all of these are important. User intent. So what does that even mean? What should I be doing? Things like that. So user intent basically breaks down into 4 categories. Okay, so I have my notes here, so I'll go over these 4 and I'll break them down a little bit, and then we'll kind of discuss them a little bit, Shawn, and make sure that our listeners can get it. And if there's any questions, guys, I do want to remind you to put them in the comments. We always like to respond to those comments and help you guys out. That's the whole reason we're doing this. So user intent breaks down to 4 categories. Category number 1, informational. Category number 2, comparison. Category number 3, transactional. And the final category number 4 is navigational. So now let's look at those 4 categories under user intent. So informational is basically a question. So a good example would be a blog post on a website that's answering a question in an industry. Let's keep it simple like that. Any type of question, okay? So that's an informational user intent, right? So if there's a keyword that you're doing and someone's asking a question, answer it with your content. It's as easy as that, right? Number 2, comparison. That's a different keyword. So if you have your keyword that you're going after is what book is better, what SEO book is better, right? And you have 2 different books. Well, if you're writing a comparison blog post or you have a page on your website that's compared, make sure you answer those questions, the pros and cons about these things, right? Be intentional. And that's what Google looks at when it's trying to rank the correct information for their users when they type in that query. Okay. The next one is transactional. These are important. This goes back to sales training 101, right? Sell, guys. If you're going after a transactional keyword, make sure that you're providing the pros and cons, you're providing the information, and at the end, don't forget your call to action. Sell them, right? They're looking for that. I see so many examples of people that do go after transactional type keywords, and in their content, there's no call to action. So there's nothing. So the user leaves, and then the question of the owner of the website is like, I never get any leads. Well, you didn't optimize for that transactional keyword. You didn't have the call to action, right? Shawn, that's your competition right there.
Your competition got, you just helped your competition get a new lead. When you leave out that call to action, they're left ready to buy. They don't know to buy from you, so they go somewhere else.
Exactly. And then the final category that we have under this trend is navigational. And this is very simple. If someoe's looking up for example, top results login page for their membership site, right? Give them that, right? If that's the navigational, right? That's the navigational type search. So don't try to trick anybody. That's the other thing. Google does not like when you're going after a certain keyword and the intention, it starts getting kind of shady, right? You're kind of going after a certain type of intentional keyword, but you're trying to lead them somewhere else, right? So if you're going after something that, has a lot of search, but it's meant for like a login page, don't do it. You're not going to rank, or if you do, you'll lose that ranking very, very fast. Okay. So that was trend number 4. That's user intent. So let's keep moving here. We're going to go to trend number 5, which is backlinks. This is the one I love because that is one of the biggest factors in SEO. Now, there is a big conversation out there online whether backlinks are important or not. Okay. So there's a lot of people, good marketers out there that stand on one side or the other. It's kind of like the political environment here in the U.S., right? Democrat and Republicans, right? It's something like that.
Oh,
Everybody
he went
has
there,
good
folks.
intentions.
He went there, folks.
Everybody has, good reasoning and whatnot, but we have to go with the data. Shawn and I have to go with the data, right? So what I mean by the data, the way we break it down and why it's on our list for this particular Trends podcast, right, is because if everybody, let's do a little scenario. What if there was 5 websites, right? There's 5 websites and they all had an equal, let's just say that they all had equal perfect SEO content, right? I talk a lot about SEO content. These 5 websites had perfect SEO content. They had perfect on-page optimization. It means all the keywords are there. Perfect user experience, right? And great user signals. Their branding was on point. So what does Google do now? Google still has to make a decision who's going to end up on position 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, right? So how do they make those? So the differentiator is the backlinks. So there's no way you can tell me that backlinks don't matter. Now there is a value on what backlinks are more valuable or not. So the tip that I can give here is if you do have a backlink strategy for your content, your website, what you want to do is make sure that the backlinks are somewhat in regards to your brand or your industry, right? So don't go after underwater basket weaving website and have them backlink to your real estate website, right? It doesn't make any sense. So make sure that your backlinks correlate with your industry. That's the best tip that I can give you. And that's the strategy that we use here at Top Results to make sure that we have a good backlink portfolio for our clients. Okay. Anything on that, Shawn?
No, I would think of backlinks as you've actually used this before with some of our clients. It's the popularity contest, right? Actually, I think the scenario you've used in the past is if you're working corporate and you're just getting started, but you have the CEO, the CXO, the CFO, maybe a couple other C-level staff all throwing your name around in department meetings, you're going to move up the chain pretty quick, right? Because other department heads, the different rankings in there, they're going to suddenly be like, whoa, Roger is somebody that's valuable because all these top people are talking about him. Backlinks is the same thing. It's online though. It's a way of getting that higher authority, somebody that's a little more established than you are, right? Been in business a little longer, got a little more authority online to say, hey, Top Results, great company. We like them. This kind of, right? It's that raise a hand vote online.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. It's basically popularity contest, guys. That's what you're trying to do online, trying to be the most popular, the most relevant, the most important person for that query. All right.
Sorry, I'm laughing at John Paul's comment that just came flying in, like here in the U.S., like he's even in the U.S. Throwing a dig at Roger being all the way out there in Guam. He's not part of the United States, but he's part of the United States right now.
You guys in the U.S., me over here in a territory in Guam, right? No, it's all good. It's all good. I always have to do that because I don't know how far our reach goes, right? So we need to be very clear. So for our international viewers or listeners, so moving on here to trend number 6, right? So trend number 6 is gaining more and more momentum, and it's an acronym here, and it's E.A.T. So E.A.T. E.A.T. So that acronym is a marketing SEO acronym that's out there right now, and you have to pay attention to this, guys. If you're trying to build your online presence, your E.A.T. is very important. That stands for expertise is the E. Expertise. Authoritativeness is the A, and trustworthiness is the T, guys. So what that means is Google is looking for these signals, all right, within your content. So how do you get these signals? How do you get this expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness? How do you get this on your content? Well, very simple. Number 1, we just saw JP here, one of our clients that chimed in there. So let's use him as an example, right? JP is a real estate investor. He is an expert serial entrepreneur. I know him very well, so I know he has different businesses that are going on. So he is a serial entrepreneur and a very strong, very smart real estate investor. So he's an expert in his industry. So when he writes content, he has a lot of assets online, whether there be multiple websites, profiles, social media profiles. They're all speaking to his expertise. So when Google looks at the content that JP writes on his websites, Google can then go out on the internet and find him very easily. There's a lot of assets talking about him and what he does. That's how you create stronger E.A.T signals. All right. That's how you build that authoritativeness, and basically Google gets to know you stronger. Okay. So we'll leave it at that. There's a whole video we can do on that. Maybe later, Shawn, in the year, we should definitely dive into that. But keep that in mind, guys. Build your social media profiles, prime them up to show your expertise, and that will correlate with the content you write on your websites. Okay. So we'll move on to the final trend of our list. There are many, many more, but on our list, we're here to the final one, number 7. Okay. Number 7 is social media marketing. So social media marketing has always, since social media has been rolled out, and as we use it more and more, you'll continue to see social media marketing on these lists every year moving forward. Why? Because it continues to get stronger and stronger, and there are more and more platforms that continue to join the industry. So we want to make sure that everybody is aware how important that is, because social media is a great way to syndicate your content, meaning putting it out there, making noise. You write a blog post and you want many, many people to automatically see it. Just because you put it on your website doesn't mean people are going to see it, right? You have to optimize it. It has to rank, has to do a number of things. So the easiest way to get it out there very, very quickly is to have a social media strategy. So I'll pass it on to Shawn just for a bit here so he can kind of dive deep. This is an area that Shawn is absolutely an expert in. So Shawn, give us a couple of tips and some thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, social media, we'll go back to Roger's comment, right? It's kind of like the politics here in the United States right now. A lot of people on one side of the fence saying it's the worst thing ever, get rid of it. And then there's a lot of other people on the other side saying it is the best thing. Don't ever get rid of it kind of mentality. And from a business standpoint, right, we're going to leave personal aside here. From a business standpoint, it is an absolute must. And there's some videos that we're going to get into, some episodes in the future as we get into the early parts of 2021, where we're going to start talking more specific on how to leverage social media to the advantage that you need. And I get it. A lot of people say, social media, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to be putting crap on there. I don't want to have to remember to post and all this other stuff. But when we start really looking at the marketing trends and the SEO trends, social media is playing a bigger factor in the SEO side of things than it ever has. And if you're not going to do it for any other reason other than that, that's the main thing to take away, is you're doing it to help the social media push in that SEO kind of leverage, right? And that algorithm side of things to do it. And I don't want to say too much because I know we got a bonus one, and a big part of the bonus is on the social side of things. But do stay tuned for sure. Couple episodes as we roll into January. We're going to dive deep into how to leverage social media from an organic standpoint, how to make it work in your favor. Roger did give a little tip earlier about priming up your social media platform, right? Social media profiles. What that means by priming it up is, if I go to your profile today and I'm confused on what you do, or I'm confused if you are or aren't a business owner, your customers feel the same way. And don't kid yourself if you don't think that they're going out there and they're eventually finding who the owner of such and such company is and looking that up. Same thing with some of your employees, some of your higher staff. If you've got employee staff in your business, they're looking them up. They want to know who that person is, because it goes back to that acronym E.A.T. There's an element of that that's trust, right? That the T could also stand in there for that trustworthiness and the trust factor that they have. People want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And the social profile, the social element, all of that kind of comes into this piece. So social media marketing, big one. If we were going to put this list in a specific order, it probably would be closer to the top. This list wasn't done in any particular order, but if you want to look at the important order of things, social media is a strong competitor for the top of the list here.
Absolutely. Great points right there, Shawn. So absolutely agree. Once again, we do want to emphasize this list was randomly, right? So don't think like the number one, this is basically the top 7 factors, trends that we thought were most important that you guys can execute right away. So there's many more, but these are the ones that are very easy for you guys to execute right away in your business. Okay. So now without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the bonus. I think the bonus is one that everybody can take advantage and start building all of this. Your brand, you're basically building your brand online, voice search, mobile, backlinks, social media. Okay. This particular bonus will cover a lot of this stuff. Just keep tuned because there's a couple tips we're going to give here. And I want to make sure that everybody gets it. So the bonus is video marketing, guys. Video marketing is on fire right now. Absolutely on fire. And the reason I say that is because it's an untapped strategy. People are so afraid to do this. What Shawn and I are doing, we're basically doing what we're saying in our bonus here. We're building.
This is video marketing and social media all in one. We're live on social platforms, multiple of them at the exact same moment right now, and we're on camera. Yes, it's an audio version. People do listen to it from the audio side, but folks, why are we doing it? It's a trend.
Right. So, and you have to kind of look at those trends that are kind of like low-hanging fruit in some cases that are very strong. Some of those low-hanging fruits are extremely strong right now. Before it kind of dwindles down and gets more competitive, you need to jump on video. So video marketing can be broken down into two segments, in our opinion. I'm sure there's different ways to break this down, but we're going to break it down into 2 so it's easy for you guys to understand. So number 1 is YouTube. Let's talk about YouTube for a minute. So YouTube is the Wild West of a search engine. It's the number 2 largest search engine in the world, guys. There's a ton of search happening on YouTube. And guess what? They're owned by Google, right? So it makes sense that a lot of these YouTube videos end up on Google searches. So if you really want to take advantage of a low-hanging fruit that's very, very strong, jump on video. Okay. So, and the platform that I would recommend if you're just getting started is YouTube. Okay. So that's the first one. And go ahead, Shawn. I think you have a lot actually to provide here on this YouTube kind of like topic.
Yeah. I mean, well, not even just YouTube. Well, actually, to your point, let's stay on YouTube for a second. You almost got to take YouTube as you would your blog content, right? What do I mean by that? We've done some past episodes where we talked about keyword research for our silos, keyword research for content to our site, keyword research for blogs to give that supporting element, right, to everything. There's a level of that same keyword research that needs to go into the YouTube side of things. So although we're saying video marketing's on fire, you need to jump on it. It's not just video just to do video or random videos. Really getting dialed in and figuring out, doing some of that keyword research inside of the Google platform and inside of the YouTube side and doing some comparison. Matter of fact, you and I actually literally had a conversation about this just before getting on today. And a title for a particular video, one side was like, and the other side you came back with, actually, there's a lot showing up in YouTube on that type of a keyword search for it. Well, that is the type of video marketing that you want to think about, right? Go find the keyword phrases that make sense in your industry and literally search them up on YouTube. And there's tools, there's resources that we could get into, just like we've done with some of the other tools and stuff that we've done back on, I think it was episode 3 or episode 4 of the podcast that you can use on the YouTube side. But right now it's about leveraging social video. And I'm just going to kind of go into this, Roger, and I'll kick it back over to you here in a second. Social video is the big push. And the reason why is platforms want their audience to stick. And how do you get somebody to stick on the platform? You get them watching videos. Right? I could scroll through hundreds and hundreds of posts. I could skim and read and get bored on verbiage and photos. But if I'm tuned into a video, we've been live now for 30 plus minutes. If you were watching this video from start to finish, you've now been on that platform for 30 minutes. That's what the platforms want. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, the big three. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't up and coming ones. Yes, there's other platforms out there. TikTok, weird. I'm not into it yet. Probably going to need to get TRC involved into it sometime in the 21 future here, because TikTok's already pushed its way to the number 8 platform out there. Even though it number 1 downloaded platform of 2020, it's already the number 8 social media platform of all the different things that have been out there. So there are going to be others that start to make their way in, but Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, big keys. And I know you've got some little tips and tricks, Raja, that you've been using with a lot of our clients on how they could kind of double tap in a way, right? And I definitely plan to do an episode in the future where we talk about multi-purpose of content, so that we're not feeling like, we got to sit in front of a camera for this one and then another one for this one. And then we can do it one way. It's kind of how we do the show here, actually, and get a lot of value out of it. But that's the big point for right now is social video. Yes, social media marketing, but if you can throw the video element to it, it goes back to Roger's point, folks. It's so untapped because so many people are afraid. So many people are afraid to do exactly what we're doing right now. Turn a camera on and say what you want to say and need to say, vice putting a picture up or just writing some sort of a long text or some fun graphic or something like that.
Absolutely, Shawn. And that was actually the second category that I wanted to break down was YouTube, just because it's all a life of its own, right? But the second one was social media, the social media platforms that allow you to do live video, Facebook, Instagram, and there's a lot more. TikTok, you mentioned TikTok, which is up and comer, absolutely strong platform. And it needs to, once again, it's going back to the intent. You need to do the research. Just because there's a guru out there saying, hey, TikTok is great, you need to do the research to make sure it makes sense for your industry, right? Because this takes time, guys, and your time is valuable. So you need to be very cognizant on where you're spending your time. So I would rather, in some cases with our clients, we ask those questions. What's your time look like? What are you doing? Sometimes we recommend just stick to one. Why? Because they don't have a lot of time and their time's valuable. So we look at the different platforms and we choose the one that's most relevant for their industry, right? So don't go out there and try to tackle everything, even the big companies.
That's a big point. Yeah, that is a big point for those of you watching and listening to take away from this. Yes, there are a ton of platforms, and yes, they're all important, and I get it. There's the Gary V fans out there that, live and die by the, you must post 100 freaking times a day on across every platform, blah, 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 blah. Dial in the platform, the outlet that makes sense for your audience, for your ideal customer. If you're a business that doesn't have a need to be on Instagram, do not try to build out Instagram simply because everybody's telling you Instagram's the next best thing. Is there value in it? Yes, but until you've got your primary piece done, if your audience reads newspapers, if those even still exist, don't be stressed out over building out Instagram if traditional old newspaper, and obviously I'm being hilarious here, but you guys get what I'm saying. Don't stress out over the quote unquote hype trend. I think that'd be another piece to kind of throw in, is these trends are data driven, study driven, not, well, everybody else is on it, so let's go say that they need to be on it, right? Big difference.
Exactly. Absolutely. No, I completely agree with that. So let's go ahead and kind of move over now that we kind of mentioned the two categories that we wanted to talk about in regards to the video marketing, which is YouTube and then all social media platforms that allow you to do video. Now let's give you a couple tips on if you're going to go out there and put out the time and actually work it into your schedule, then let's be intentional, right? So I have 3 very, very simple things that, once again, the reason they're on my notes here and I want to mention them is because they're so simple, people forget. That's the way it works. So let's break them down here. Title, description, backlink. Title, description, backlink. Okay. So what do I mean by that? Let's take YouTube just so it doesn't get confusing here. Create a video about a how-to video, right? Let's just do how to do a podcast, just like that, because we're on a podcast right now. So if you do that, how to do a podcast, then you need to do a little bit of research if you're going to put it on YouTube, and just type in how to do a podcast. You'll get all kinds of titles: how to do a podcast in 2021, how to do a podcast using a certain platform, how to do all these titles. Get an idea, look at the trend on the most popular title, and then take that and use it as your title, right? You're going to do that. Number 2, description. Now that you have a title, an optimized title that actually describes what you're going to be talking about, also, I'm going to throw this one into intent. Make sure that you're talking about that title too. Don't put a title that doesn't fit in. So number 2, description. In the description, I would recommend that you take advantage of the amount of characters that YouTube or whatever platform that you're using allows you. Okay. Try to. I know it's hard to kind of, if it give you a certain amount of characters to use. What I mean by characters, words, letters, stuff like that. So whatever they give you, try to write a description that long, and make sure that you're using keywords in there that have to do with the content you're talking about. And then the final thing is a backlink. Well, if you're talking about something, say how to do a podcast in 2021, write a blog post on your website about this topic, right? And then what you can do is put a backlink or a link, a hyperlink in the YouTube video description that hyperlinks back to your blog on your website. Now you've covered all 3 factors that I gave you, and that helps the signals. Now everything is connected. If you look at that, why did you do that? Well, you just created a lot of assets out there for your brand. You have your website, you have YouTube, you have social media, and everything is interconnected. And Google goes through that and it follows links. If you really look at this, it's a matrix. It's a link matrix. And that's how Google finds all the assets that are related to your brand. And that's it right there, Shawn. I want to kind of keep it high and tight, make sure that, you know, there was a lot of information there. I don't want to kind of go too deep. In the future, we will. Best thing that you guys can do if you're listening is, if something confused you, you have questions, leave a comment, guys. We will answer those questions for you.
Absolutely. And 100%, a ton of valuable information in there, and we will be breaking each of these down as we go further. So if you haven't subscribed to the show, do us a favor, subscribe, stay in the loop. Head over to topresultsconsulting.com, check out the WebBuzz podcast section of the site to catch up on any past episodes, catch on anything that you might have missed, or you want to just re-watch or take a listen to. If you're out there on one of the audio versions of this, we'd love for a little bit of support, rate, review, all that kind of stuff. Share it out. But more importantly, just remember, every week, every Wednesday, here live on Facebook, in multiple different places of Facebook and in YouTube, like we just talked about, we're here. We're live. We'd love for you guys to join us on the live broadcast. Place for you to throw a question in, get it answered. Just say hi, whatever the case is on there. But with that, on behalf of Roger, myself, everybody here at Top Results, and the WebBuzz podcast team, we want to wish you guys a happy new year. It's probably the first time that I'm excited that a year is ending and going away. It's kind of like throwing away the bad trash. 2020 was a crazy year. It was really good in some areas, really crazy in others, and I think it's going to be good to just kind of purge, get away from it. 2021, we kind of already know what we're expecting in 2021 with all the craziness that's out there. It's not going to smack us like it did in 2020. So we know what we're going into. We can start fresh and build through that. And that's where Roger and I and the entire WebBuzz podcast team is going to be there to help support you guys, bring you guys the greatest and latest tips, trends, hacks, whatever the case, whatever you want to call them, going on the web to help your online marketing succeed. Anything you want to say to our listeners and followers out there, Roger, before we sign off?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to say it's New Year's Eve here in Guam. It is coming, guys. I can prove it here. This is where America's day begins. So it is here. 2021 is here. I just want to thank our listeners, our current clients, our future clients, just people that follow us just for information. Thank you very much. 2020 was awesome, as Shawn said, in some areas, some other areas. Hopefully, everybody's staying healthy. Your families are staying healthy. But yeah, from behalf of our families to yours, we wish you a happy new year. And we look forward to continue adding a lot of value to your business, your lives, and listening to your questions and answering those questions for you. So happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year's, guys. And we'll see you next year.
Absolutely. And if you got that on your, I hate saying this, but your New Year's resolution, I've got we're going to have to do a different episode on some of these things, but I got my whole take on resolutions and all this crap. But if you've got it on your list that 2021 is going to be the year you're going to spend a little bit more time focusing on the marketing side of your business and really growing your business, we got a free masterclass, almost an hour-long class out there that you guys can sit down, watch, take a listen to on really how to take your website and make it a valuable sales and marketing asset in your business. It's going to go a little deeper into some of the things that we've been talking about over the last couple episodes on here. Go check that out. There's a ton of free downloads and resources that are out there. Check out any of the past WebBuzz episodes. You got a lot to keep you busy as the start of the year comes around, and we will see you back here next Wednesday for the kickoff of 2021. I promise you there are some amazing highlights and things coming the first couple weeks. Top Results is coming out swinging. We're going big, bringing a lot of value to both current clients and soon-to-be clients. So be sure to stay tuned. Till next time, have a safe and happy New Year season here, New Year weekend. But more importantly, here's to your success.